as much as everyone else. It's probably a good thing I'm very proficient at my job. Or maybe it's just that the boss likes me enough to give me some slack on the dress code. I go for khaki, reds or gray, sometimes maybe charcoal, but everyone else in the place wear enough black and metal to go around. It's that kind of bar. Most of the metalheads and biker wannabes in the bar wear their tattoos like flags, and as much metal in their faces as on those silly dog collars some of them wear. Tonight, I was free of piercings, my ink was covered, and aside from the combat boots, I was fairly conservatively dressed in unwrinkled 501s and a charcoal-colored shirt. So that's what the flashing lights revealed, as the first of several police cars and other official vehicles arrived. When the sirens started to wail even louder than the chaotic sounds coming out of the bar, I stepped forward into the light and walked towards the nearest end of the alley. I figured I might as well flag the police down and show them the way. There was no real hurry anymore, but I wanted to get things moving. Spending time with any type of constabulary is one of those things best done quickly, like pulling off a bandage. The frantic noise of speed metal rolled out muted but persistent to turn the scene into something out of a mushroom-induced dream. The reality factor was already strained by several assaults on the senses. The neon lights flickering from the tattoo parlor at the end of the alley. A sickening stench of bad meat, garbage, and worse. Around it, all the day-glow colors of graffiti hung like a tribute to acid trips. And, of course, like most graffiti in Austin, it was bilingual and mostly profane. The absolute worst of the sensory assaults came from the odor of raw sewage and spilled entrails, along with a hint of the coppery scent of blood. Plus, there was the blood itself in great splatters and roping rivers of black that betrayed the occasional sheen of red when the tattoo parlor light shined just right. In the middle of that almost artistic arrangement of blood were the pile of rags and splintered bone, black leather, and metal spikes. There was also an incredible amount of offal, as what was normally inside the clothing and skin was now very much outside and strewn about. The first officer was young and full of youthful vitality. With an eager look on his face and an energetic bounce, he was halfway into the alley. His approach was textbook. One hand stayed near, if not on, his handgun. The other hand shined the inevitable heavy-duty flashlight right into my eyes. "Jesus, Chewie, back off the lights. This is the guy who called it in. I doubt he offed somebody in the alley, then stood here to wave us in." The second officer was older, thicker in the middle, and obviously in no real hurry to see whatever was down the alley. He also had eyes that said they'd already seen enough. They said scenes like the one behind me were nothing new, and had lost the appeal of novelty long since. To him, this would probably be less of an adventure and more of an unpleasant job that had to be done. And if he had to do a job, he was going to do it right. That meant he didn't need a young, eager beaver tugging on his shirt tails. At least that's what I saw in those tired old eyes. "Look, kid, walk down the alley, don't touch anything, and don't stand there gawking at the body. Take some tape with you and seal off that end. We'll get this end set up for the SoCo in the meat wagon." A wave of his meaty hand sent the younger officer jogging down the alley with all of that excess eager energy. "Sorry about the lights. Gomez is a good kid, but this is his first DB. I'm Jackson. What do you have for me?" Watching the kid run down the alley with his eyes glued to the body instead of his footing seemed likely to provide some entertainment. I figured it was all but a foregone conclusion that the youngster was in for a spill between the light rain beginning to fall, the poor lighting, and a plentitude of debris and garbage. But you don't antagonize the bulls, and ignoring a direct question is about the quickest way to get on their bad side. Turning to face the older officer meant I missed whatever caused the loud bang, followed by several fairly profane words in Spanish. I had a good guess, though. Jackson let out a weary sigh and a barely noticeable shake of his head.